Hi, everyone. This is Kelly Boone here from Tech and Learning. Thank you for attending today's Virtual Leadership Summit. And a special thank you to today's sponsors, Guide K-12, now Forecast 5 Analytics, MediaSite, Prezi, Nuriva, and Boxlight. I also want to remind everyone to log into the Conference Hub using the links in your confirmation email. Once you're logged in there, you can visit the sponsor booths. Each sponsor does have a Zoom meeting room. Every time you visit their Zoom meeting room, you'll get 20 entries into the Passport to Prizes. We are going to announce those winners via email at the end of this conference, but there's some pretty cool prizes, including some Amazon gift cards you can win. So stop by. It takes 2 seconds to chat with a sponsor, and you will up your entries by a lot. Also, in the Conference Hub, you'll see your personalized agenda. You can also network with today's attendees, sponsors, and speakers via the registrant directory. There's also some chat features on the homepage, as well as all of our sponsor booths. And then last but not least, you can access all of the conference resources in the downloads and resource section of the website. So yesterday's presentations are already up there, along with PDFs of the presentations. By the end of the day today, we'll have all these up there as well. There are a ton of resources from our exhibitors, sponsors, and then also from Tech and Learning that you'll be able to see there. So before we begin, a couple housekeeping items. If you have questions during the presentation, type them in the chat box within Zoom. If your question can wait until the Q&A section of the presentation, you'll be able to unmute yourself and ask your question live. Today's slides, like I said, will be available in that download section. And then last thing is, don't forget to use the conference hashtag TLTechLive in your social media posts. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to your moderator for today, Matt Joseph.
Hello, everybody. And one of the things I want to make sure is to get right into the content, because I've seen the work of Christine and Melissa, and I think you are in for a real treat. And what I really wanted to just second what Kelly said is this is going to be also interactive in the sense of throw some things in the chat in the Q&A. I'll make sure to connect with the presenters to make sure that they hear it. And if it's something you want answered on the spot, throw that in there and I'll throw it to presenters. So Christine and Melissa, we're going to take about 15 minutes each to leave some time at the end, and I'll jump in and share if there's any questions. And for those out there, just make sure your mics are muted, and we're going to pass it over to Christine from another Massachusetts educator to kick us off.
Hi, everybody. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen here. So hopefully everyone can go ahead and see this. Matt, thanks for that introduction. I'm Christine Ravesi-Weinstein. I'm a little bit of a unique situation. I'm not someone that's a leadership in a tech position specifically. I'm a good old assistant principal at a high school just outside of Boston here in Massachusetts. My platform specifically is social and emotional learning. And as you can see, I've written a book called Anxious, How to Advocate for Students with Anxiety, because what if it turns out right? And so primarily I'm a mental health advocate, and I work a lot with trying to help educators learn about our students with anxiety and providing them with stories and strategies in order to support them in the classroom. So why am I doing a presentation on assessment and specifically vlogging? So I'm going to start off sharing with you a little bit of my sort of journey with this platform and how it began and how it ended up at the vlogging stage for me. And the reason I'm doing that is because I believe that vlogging is a very effective way that educators can encourage students to use tools that they're already engaged with on a daily basis, and that they can use it for more performance assessment type tasks that's really more authentic for students. And the best part is, because I'm not someone in the tech field, I can speak from experience and let you know that it's super easy to do if you don't have a lot of experience. And I know a lot of our students and teachers might be in that specific situation. So this first slide here, just want to give you a little background. In April of 2019, I started a YouTube channel. And what I started doing was I started making really, really quick videos, 1 to 2 minutes in length. They were kind of off the cuff. Just basically what I would do is I'd present my thoughts kind of after running or working out. And I tried to connect with a strategy that maybe educators could then use and apply for students with anxiety. The gist of it was born out of people saying, you know, you run a lot, you work out a lot. Like, what do you think about while you do that? And I really couldn't answer the question. And so I challenged myself to start really focusing on what I was thinking about while I was engaging in exercise. And so I started my YouTube channel called The Runner's High. And at the end of every video, I talked about, well, you know what, take the risk, because what if it turns out right? So I started doing that and I had a lot of success with it. But one thing that I came to realize through the journey of just doing these really quick 1 to 2 minute videos is that as a speaker and an author, these really short videos were not supporting my desires to write. And so for me, I wanted to find a way where I could really kind of bring the two together, where I could work with video because I really enjoyed that. And I think it helps with authenticity and when you're a mental health advocate, authenticity is really, really important. So I wanted to continue to do that, but I wanted to also continue to write. And let's face it, when you're doing a 1 to 2 minute off the cuff video, you're not really preparing it. You're not writing anything. So it wasn't the YouTube channel, The Runner's High wasn't completely meshing with the product that I was creating by being an author of Anxious. So I decided to start my journey with trying to vlog. I was asked by Chuck Poole to create a video for his teacher summit. And I really decided, kind of just on a whim, that I was going to try a vlog, which I had never done before. So I set a goal to make the video about 5 to 8 minutes in length, so longer than these short videos I was accustomed to making. I was going to write a script for it so that it would really help with my writing and allow me to create more content. I was going to go ahead and film it. I was going to do the production. I was going to do all the editing. And the thing about it was I did all of this on my phone. I do not have a recording studio or a whole heck of a lot of, tools at my disposal. I got an iPhone, I have iMovie on it, and I went out and I bought a really cheap ring light that my phone can attach to. And I started kind of looking at different apps that I could maybe use on my phone that might help me with this process. And so I created a subset of my YouTube channel called Vlogging with Anxiety.
Christine, I just had a question for a second. When you talk about vlogging and you've said a lot, is that coming from blogging? Like
so the word vlogging, it combines video and blogging. So lots of people have a blog. You can read them everywhere, right? Like people will write little snippets. They can sometimes be published articles. It's just kind of like, what are their thoughts? So a vlog is a combination of the two, where you're doing the exact same thing, but instead of just putting it out as written content, you are recording yourself speaking it. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Do you have to write too?
I suppose that there are, well-experienced vloggers out there that don't write, but I choose to because it helps me. It's a different platform. I really want to be thoughtful, and it's a blog, and you write a blog, so right. I choose to write.
Awesome. That's great.
It's another thing that I think is good, and what I'll talk about why I use this for assessment is, you can have students turn in the script that they wrote or the blog part, and you can provide that can be a piece of the grading. So I'll get into that. So this is an example of how I go ahead and I write a script. So Disappointment and Drive was a vlog that I produced towards the end of June. And so this is just a quick picture of how I set up a script. And this is, all just doing it on my own, what I've come up with what works for me. So the interesting thing about a vlog is it's really, it's kind of quick, it's choppy. And so there are a lot of cutaways. And so the way I choose to indicate that there's going to be a cutaway is I use the carrots, and then I put in there something that I want to add. So in this particular vlog I produced, I wanted to add a picture of a sock up and a sock down. So there are different things I'll share with you, or resources I'll share with you. We can get free images and free videos that you don't have to pay for that I use. So the first thing I do is I go ahead and I write a script. And this is as you know, Matt asked, what's a vlog? This is the blog part of vlogging, right? I'm writing. But instead of producing this as a written piece on my website, I'm now going to perform it, for lack of a better term. So what I do from there is I use the Teleprompter app. This is an amazing tool where you can upload a script to it right from Google Drive. And then there are different options in the settings where you can increase the size of the font. You can actually go ahead and edit the script right within the app itself. You can create a white background for the text as it scrolls. You can create the width of that text. And the nice thing about it is the script scrolls right by the camera of your phone. So as I'm looking at the script and I'm reading it, I'm looking right into the camera. So nobody can tell that I'm reading something, because I'm making eye contact with them. When you film it, it exports it right to your photo library. So it goes right into my pictures on my phone. It's like any other video I might take. The only issue with this particular app is it does cost about $16. It's a one-time fee, but I did a lot of research on different teleprompter apps, and this was far and away the best one and the most highly recommended. So this is where the script goes, and I go ahead and I film. I use this particular ring light. It allows my phone to attach to it. It has a cord that I plug into my computer where I can turn the light on and off. It has different like filters for lighting, so I can have it be more of like a warm mood or a cool mood. It's a 10-inch light, comes right with the tripod. It actually has a Bluetooth clicker, which is really neat. So I can turn the video on and off from a distance. And this was under $60, which is super cheap when it comes to like having the resources and the tools needed to go ahead and vlog. And then I use iMovie. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with iMovie. It comes right on your iPhone, and it's really user-friendly. You can add multiple videos into one project. You can do audio, cutaways, pictures within video. Comes right on your iPhone. It is difficult to manipulate with just your finger on the small phone, but it's completely doable and completely possible. And so every vlog I put out, I made on my phone. So I don't have, you know, a MacBook. I don't have an expensive computer, expensive recording studio. I'm doing all of this just with a phone, a ring light, a couple of apps. So why, you know, what's the difference between videos that you might see on the internet or on Twitter and vlogging? So videos that you might see, they're usually 2 minutes and 20 seconds or less. So if you see a video that's posted on Twitter, the max video length on Twitter is 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So really short. They're not scripted. It's a consistent video. It's raw. It's uncut. It's a quick thought or a strategy. They're using natural lighting. They're probably filming it pretty much anywhere. They're not really considering the setting. But for vlogging with anxiety, they're at least 4 minutes or more. As I showed you, it's scripted. The video is cut. So I actually will film the whole video in one take, and then I splice up the video so it has a choppy feel to it. And you know, that's another aspect of a vlog. I use stage lighting, and it's filmed like in a specific spot where I know that I can add cutaways and stuff. So this is the big question, like why vlogs? Why are we talking about this relative to student assessment? Well, there's multiple components to vlogging that can really be used in so many different disciplines in school. There's a writing component. So if you're an English teacher and you really want your students to be able to write and work on that, that's a huge and can be a huge aspect of vlogging, the actual production of a storyboard or a script. There's the filming aspect of it, having the ability to actually film the video and then edit the video. These are all components of vlogging that can be assessed. It can be done in a group. It can be done completely remotely. So this could be a group project that's done without even ever having to come face to face. We all know the joy of Google. We can work and collaborate from a distance. And then you can have one person film if they're more comfortable in front of the camera. And then you can have someone else never actually show their face on camera, but play a huge role in the writing of the script, the storyboard, and also in the editing process of the film, or researching and coming up with cutouts, pictures, additional videos. So there are roles that can be played behind the scenes. It's really beginner friendly. It supports student choice because they get so much control over what they're producing. Again, I said it can be done with any curriculum. It's really creative. And this is a huge thing for me as a mental health advocate. The ability to tap into creativity is a really great strategy for individuals who are suffering with anxiety. So I also like that aspect of it. And this can be done with minimal equipment and minimal cost. You don't have to have your students purchase a Teleprompter app. They can if they want. They can also look at one that maybe doesn't have quite the same bells and whistles. That's free. If they have an iPhone, they've got iMovie. They don't necessarily need a ring light. That's just a choice that I made. So this really is a way that we can make assessment more meaningful to students, more in line with things that they're already comfortable with and using on a daily basis. And it just makes it more authentic and more interesting, especially to assess kids virtually and from a distance.
So Christine, I have a question for you. So I know you're in your current role as vice principal, you supervise teachers and you were a department chair in your previous role. If a teacher comes to you and says, I see this more as a fun activity, not as a test, because that could be what some of our participants are thinking right now, that if a teacher comes to them and doesn't know how to answer the question that this is assessment, what would be one of the things that you say if a teacher comes to you and say this is an assessment?
Well, to me, everything you do with students is some form of an assessment, right? Like, why give them an activity to do in class if it's not a means to an end? This absolutely could be an assessment. You could have, it depends on the content of what you want them to produce. Give them a topic, right? I mean, you could have students in an English classroom, and I was a science teacher when I was in the classroom, but in an English classroom, you could have them make a vlog talking about the specific choices a character made in a particular novel that you read, and relating it to, or talk about if that character lived in the world today, what their choices might have been. To me, teachers get so hung up on assessment is like a short answer question or a multiple choice or fill in the blank, because we got to know if they know the information. Look, the bottom line is information is omnipresent. We all have phones. You can look up anything. There's no need to memorize anymore. But what we need to be able to do is produce students who are ready to go out in the world and who have the ability to create creative content using the technology that's at their disposal, and to do it in a collaborative setting. So I challenge any teacher that says, oh, this is just an activity, to say, okay, well, why can't the activity be assessed? And what's your idea of what an assessment is? An assessment isn't just a grade. We have to separate grades from assessments. And too often teachers mix those together. They think, well, assessments have to be graded, or grades are assessments. It's not the case.
Awesome. No, and I wanted to make sure that, because I know you do a lot of work with that and you're very passionate about this, I wanted to make sure that, because I know when I was a principal, sometimes I didn't have those answers, and you being an expert here, having that is great for our panel. So thank you very much. That was awesome. The student voice in this is just so impactful, and one of the things with I noticed as we have Melissa get set up, one of the things I noticed with the teleprompter, as someone with anxiety or students who are concerned, that gives that level of comfort as well.
Yeah, I just one last thing and then I'll toss it over to Melissa. I was really, really shy in front of the camera. So, if you go to my YouTube channel and you watch the very, very first, 2-minute video that I made back in April of last year, and then you watch my most recent vlog, you can see that there's an aspect of like getting more comfortable in front of the camera. But that's the thing that I love so much about producing these, is that there's so much to it. Even though it's a simple concept, that you can meet your students where they are, which is so important in the world of mental health. If a kid isn't comfortable in front of a camera, it doesn't mean they can't participate in this and show what they know.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. That was so informative. I look forward to trying some myself. And I'm going to pass that now over to Melissa. And I know we had a change in some of the topics that we were talking about. So I'd love for you to start off with that and really discuss the piece that you're going to jump into.
Hi, folks. I'm Melissa Lismy, and let me get my presentation up here. How many people here, and what I'm going to talk about today is multimodal instructional delivery. How many people here know what they're going to do next semester or in the fall? Are you going online? Are you going hybrid? Are you going in person? Put it on the chat box if you could. There we go. There we go. Okay. So what I want to talk about is multimodal instructional delivery. I've been teaching, I come from Montgomery College. I've been teaching Montgomery College web database programming classes for 20 years, and I've been teaching online for 15 years. And so I've had a lot of time to develop my craft of teaching online. So when looking at, and which I know most schools out there are panicking, which I'm sure they are, I'm really concerned about our K-12 administrators, teachers, parents, because this is a huge, huge turn. This is in a very short turnaround, a big change for everybody. So I think, first of all, it is an educational emergency for us, but don't panic. Don't panic. It's doable. Be positive, it's doable. We just need to give teachers some tools to make them comfortable, and we need to give parents comfort in that this is all doable. So when I'm looking at my education, my online educational tool belt, all the little tools I use to help teach online, I thought multimodal instructional delivery is probably the most useful for schools out there. And what that entails, and one thing when a teacher gets online with their students, and I'm thinking the biggest jump is going to be for elementary kids and elementary teachers, because they don't usually do much teaching online at all, if any. So that's going to be a big jump, and they're used to being together. So one thing I do want to say that teachers should say to their students is be honest with them and say, I know it'd be a lot better if we were together in class, but this is what we have, and I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be new, it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be fun. So, and one thing we want to stress, that online education, we're not trying to replace in-person education. What we're trying to do is make education more accessible, make it more available to students, all right? There we go. All right, so a lot of different things can come into play. Zoom, Vimo, Google Meet, it depends on what your school district is using, okay, and what they've dubbed as okay to use. You can use any of these. So this is what I'm talking about when I talk about multimodal. You got it?
I got you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So here's what I'm talking about when I do say multimodal instructional delivery. All right. So, and I've done this before at Montgomery College, and I teach programming classes. And if you can picture me up at the podium with a smart instructor workstation, right, I can literally hold the class on site, okay, have students coming into the classroom, and at the same time, I just fire up Skype and start piping students in through Skype into the same classroom. Right? So here I am teaching both remotely and on site at the same time. Okay. Furthermore, I can simply just do a screen capture software. Okay. Something easy like Screencast-O-Matic, QuickTime will copy it. Right. So I'm recording the entire session at the same time. Right. So here I've got students in my class, some students who, for whatever reason, sometimes they're students with a single parent family, they're working full time, they're a single parent, they can't get sometimes rush hour, they work downtown DC. Just getting to campus is really, really difficult for them. All right, no problem. Just pipe them right in. All right, sit down at your laptop at home and you can participate live with me. Ask questions, see my screen, I'm doing screen share. And then of course, I'm also at the same time recording this. So this, for anybody that's a programmer out there or has a programmer background, this is the write once, read many, right? We do the lecture once, we do the lesson once, and then we can distribute it 3 different ways: in person, online synchronous, or online asynchronous. So there it is, there's the in-person instruction, remote synchronous. I'm piping in the people using Zoom, Google Meet, or Skype, any one of those works. And then I'm also saving it. I'm saving the lesson as a recording with Screencast-O-Matic, and I have to upload it somewhere. So Stream is now available for people that are doing Office 360, Office 365. Stream is a new component of Office 365 where it allows you to upload videos of pretty much any size, which is really, really nice. We were using Vimeo in my department, which was a paid service, but the whole department was using it. That took a long time to upload. So I'm super excited about Stream coming on to the Office 365. Skype for Business is also becoming part of the Office 365 suite. So I'm hopeful that in the next couple months, all of that will be well integrated.
Melissa, I had a question for you.
Yeah.
Can you just back up for a second on the slide?
Sure.
So when you are having this recorded, is it just focusing on the teacher in case there's any concern with families that students are in the videos? Where's the camera set up?
Yeah, the camera is actually on the screen capture
Oh,
and
okay.
the teacher.
Okay.
If you want to do both. For me, because I do programming, I show myself in the beginning and I say, hey, as I welcome everybody, and then it's all screen capture.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good question though, yeah. Okay, so what do you guys need? I mean, I'm pretty blessed in that in my college campus, I have a podium with a smart instructor workstation, and I've got a projector and all that. Most schools though, I know our elementary, middles, and high, they have a media cart, right? They've got a media cart with a laptop for each classroom. If they don't have a camera, here's a $36 camera, super easy, with a nice little $12 tripod, all right, that you can point at the teacher. And here's a $25 speaker, okay, if you want to go beyond what just your regular laptop has. The software that you need, any of these work for live conferencing. Our school system prefers to use Google Meet. All right, they're Google Classroom, Google Meet, so whatever your school system use. Zoom works beautifully. Skype for Business works beautifully. Any of these are great. For the screen capture software, Screencast-O-Matic works. If you want to, for 15 minutes, it's for free. More than that, it's about $1 a month per license, so it's pretty darn cheap. Our college also has a license for Camtasia, which works very well. And the last thing you're going to need is, where do I store these videos? YouTube's not going to work. It only takes about 15 minutes maximum. We did previously do Vimeo for a paid subscription to it, but now we have Stream available to us, which is phenomenal. And that's part of the Office 365 suite, which is really nice. So there's a place to store, safely store, be able to secure it via a password, and also be able to secure it via a private link. So it's only available to those with the private link.
And Melissa, can you just go back more? So
Yep.
Similarly because Christine was talking about a lot about Google, I'm guessing that would be very similar, that they could store it in their Google Drive as well if they weren't.
Yeah, they can store it in their Google Drive, private,
Okay.
and that's all within Google Classroom too.
All right, awesome.
So yeah. Okay, so what does the teacher need to do? So this is, the teacher will need to get a little bit, basically fire up Skype or Zoom or whatever as students are coming in. Welcome students online and in person as everybody's funneling into the classroom. Okay, once the lesson begins, you simply click record, okay, on your screen capture software. Stop the recording once it's over, save the recording, and then upload it to publish it. So you're going to upload it to Google Drive or Vimeo or Stream, wherever you want. Okay. And so what do you get out of this? Yes. You get, for me, I've got every single lecture. And this is kind of compressed. Look, I've got week 1. This was for summer session, a class I taught for summer session. But this is about 16 weeks of lectures, which is what a normal semester is. So that's 1 lecture per week, right? And I've got myself a library of video for every single lecture that I've done, which is great. Not only so students can go back to it as many times as they want, fast forward. Oh, I forget how to do that. How did she do that? Oh, I was unable to make that class. I was out sick. I wasn't feeling well. There you go. There's the video. You have everything you need. So I think it turns out to be the one thing I do. So here's an example of what it looks like for me. I'm usually coding and I'm talking through the coding. And I always have my chat up so I can see exactly when students are asking questions. All right. And students typically, I set the norm where students typically come in, say hello, but once class starts, I ask everybody to go on to mute. All right. And then if you have a question, put it in the chat box. I always have my chat box up with whatever I'm doing coding wise. All right, and I can see immediately when the student has a question. If it's hard for me to understand what they're asking or what they're getting at, I unmute them and I let them, ask in person. So there we go, a library of resources. So in this might seem all confusing. What do I need to make all this happen? Zoom actually does it all. All right, Zoom will do the video conferencing for you. It also does the recording for you. And it also does the video storage and streaming. So you can upload it into Zoom as well. All right. So right now, Zoom is probably your best bet. It can also be kind of cobbled together. I started out before Zoom came. I started out with Skype for Business, then used Screencast-O-Matic or QuickTime, and then I was uploading to Vimeo. But if you've got Office 365, I would think about these: Skype for Business, Screencast-O-Matic, and Zoom. So that would be the software that you would need to do all 3 steps. And then I wanted to give you this little cheat sheet, teacher cheat sheet. Just tips for teachers on, hey, teachers are going to be nervous. They're going to be nervous about teaching live online sessions. And I don't blame them. I had 15 years to kind of, craft this and make this the best situation I can. So here's some tips on how to teach online, basically. Have a great online teaching session. And let me go ahead and grab that. Any questions?
Yeah, so I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Christine.
Okay.
So as a district leader and teachers come to me, how would you work this into the assessment piece? Is this more on creating opportunities for students to be assessed? Or what?
Yeah, so this is more, this actually isn't really that linked to assessment, which we kind of had to change. This is more, but it's a great study guide for your assessments, right? It's a great study. And if we have time, I can show you all the actual beauty and magic of Google quizzes, which is phenomenal. Let me know if we have time because I've got it up.
If you do, we definitely have a little bit of time. So I think that would link the instructional portion of this that you really dove into and showed how to create that teacher library, and then the matching assessment piece with the Google quizzes to show the full scope of the lessons.
Right. So yeah, the beauty of, let's see, here we go. All right, so Google Quizzes, most people are probably familiar with Google Forms. Google Forms now has Google Quizzes too. And here's a step-by-step, I'll make this available to you right here. This is step-by-step, Google's how to set up a quiz, all right? And it's really super easy. You can set up multiple choice, you can set up short answer, you can even put graphics in, insert a graphic really easily, import questions, and you can even insert a video as part of your question, all right? Setting up an answer key is really, oh, let me put this in present mode, sorry guys.
And can you also, I saw you copy the link, is there any way to throw that into the chat?
Yeah. Let me do that at the end because my chat is a little bit.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, let me do that. I'll do that at the end because my chat's a little bit hidden right now, which drives me crazy. Okay, so here I'm saying that the answer is 50, but I'm gonna accept 50%, spell it out. Here's my answer key. So I'm filling out my answer key and I'm very quickly saying how many points to each question. Super easy. So there's the question, it was the statistics class, here's the answer, and here's how many points that's worth. Okay, shooting it out to students. So once you've created the exam or the quiz, getting it out to students is really easy. You can do it by email. You can take your class list email address, even if it's, all in a big block of text, and you can just plop that block of text in and it will parse all the emails and you just shoot it out right before the exam time, okay? So I actually had an opportunity to use this. I was teaching for University of Maryland a statistics class for my first time, and I blew my knee out right before the exam and had to have surgery like right away. And I was so nervous because I wanted to make a good impression and I really loved the class. And I thought, well, what about this? Google Quizzes, wow, it was phenomenal. I was able to live stream myself into the class, administer the exam from home. I shot it out to all the students. They retrieved it. You can also give them a link, but I used email to give it to them. I literally had that exam graded by the time they got to their cars. I've never had an exam that they had left the classroom and got to their cars. It was that easy because I had already queued in a whole bunch of the possible answers. What happens is if they get it exactly as the answer that you wanted, it'll highlight it as green, so that's correct. If it's not the example that you had entered, it'll highlight it as red. You just take a quick look at the highlight in red. This was, he said, discrete quantitative. Okay, that's good. All right, so I gave him the 2 points, that's it. All right, so I literally had pretty much everything graded probably in about 20 minutes. And this, the best part of it, is the results. Look at all the different summary. Here's summary statistics for the exam. Here's summary statistics. I can see very clearly, most of my A's were up here, right? I got a 20%, uh-oh, something went wrong there. I got some 50s, but fortunately, I got a lot of A's. It also tells me really quickly, which questions did the students have the most problem with, right there, frequently missed questions. Wow, look at that. I might have to reconsider that question. Here's the grades for each of the students. And this is all private to me, right? Here's last name, first name response, but I'm also saying, here's the response. What type of variable is GPA? All my different responses, right? They also were able to upload histograms so they could take a quick picture of their results or their work and upload it, right, for math. So this was really, really,
No, I think,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, that's pretty in depth for sure. And I think it just shows the link as we kind of come near our last minute. I do have a request for both Christine and Melissa, both of you. I know you went over a lot of material and a lot of, I saw a few live links in there, like Christine's your blog, Melissa, you had a link to some Google pieces. While we wrap this up, I would love for you both to just put in the chat some of the links that you would like people to have. I know it's online, I know it's recorded, but for the participants that are currently here, if you could throw those into the chat, that would be great.
Absolutely.
And I think if you stop sharing your screen, Melissa, you'll be able to see the chat a little bit better, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what the problem is. There we go.
Yeah.
I got it.
And make sure to plug your computer. And I saw your battery, that red little thing's never good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Right.
So as we kind of wrap this up, I want to thank both of you for this. We really got to see video in two avenues. One where the teacher is utilizing video, both of themselves and to record the lesson to store and save for students, especially in this virtual world. And then Christine showed some video where you could have both a combination of writing, video, production, student voice with what we're doing. And as we talk about that assessment piece, Christine really shared about how you can see that student authentic work. And when it is relative to what students are doing each and every day to their work, their environment, students buy in and are much more excited about what they're doing. And then at the end, Melissa really showed some real hard data where you utilize a tool like that was Google Surveys and Google Forms, which creates a survey to have that. So having that combination will really make all of this come to work, the video work, the storing of that video, and having that student output as well. So I want to thank you both. I want to thank everybody for coming in. We also have another session coming up after this one. We have 3 more sessions, actually. One is in this room. And Kelly, I know you had some information about sponsors and different things. I didn't know if you wanted to share that. I wanted to get it right because the sponsors I've seen up there are just fabulous. I've had an opportunity to meet some of them in person, and their support is making this day possible, as well as all of your hard work, and Christine and people behind the scene like Carl making this happen.
Yeah, so I want to just say thank you again to all of our sponsors for Guide K-12, now Forecast 5 Analytics, MediaSite, Prezi, Nuriva, and of course Boxlight. So as we said, our next session will start in about 10-15 minutes. I want to encourage everybody to go over to the Conference Hub, meet with some of our exhibitors and sponsors. We're going to be pulling Passport to Prizes after the next session. So go visit with those sponsors. If you click the Zoom link and just stop in and say hi to them, you get an extra 20 entries into the Passport to Prizes. So thank you everyone for participating today, and we will see you all in about 15 minutes.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Christine and Melissa.
Thank you, Matthew.